Hello guys, today we're going to finish 1.4. Let's just start example 4. Operations involving square roots of negative numbers. Okay, we have square root of negative 18 minus square root of negative 8. So before we start, so we need to know this right here. Anytime we have a negative number under the square root, so we're going to have a square root of negative b equal to I square root of b. So you need to remember this. Let's work on part A. Okay, so when you're dealing with this type of question, one thing you have to be really careful is you always, anytime you see the negative numbers under square roots, so basically, we're going to apply this. This actually is called the principal square root. Right? Let me go ahead and write it down. Principal square root. We always have to do this first. So we have I square root of 18 minus, okay, we're going to turn this into I square root of 8. Step 1, this is always the case, so we're going to apply this principal square root. And once we have this, we're going to simplify, okay? So we should remember this. I is 18, so we can rewrite this as 3 squared multiply 2, okay? Then we have minus I square root of 2 squared multiplied by 2. You can also just say square root of 9 multiplied by 2 because you know square root of 9 is just 3. So I'm just kind of doing step by step, kind of remind you how you done this in the past. Okay, so once we have this, so that will be I square root of 3 squared, and then we separate this square root. So we're going to have I square root of 2 squared multiply square root of 2. Okay? So then the square root and square, they're going to be cancelled. So we're going to have 3i, we'll just rearrange it, 3i square root of 2 minus 2i square root of 2. So now we look, once we have this, we learned the subtract early. So we're going to have 3i squared root of 2 minus 2i squared root of 2, we're just going to have 1i squared root of 2, which is I squared root of 2. Then we'll finish this. Okay, let's work on part B. Part B we have negative 1 plus the square root of negative 5, then squared. So anytime, like what I mentioned, we have a negative number under the square root, we're going to just turn it into I square root of 5, and then the whole thing that will be squared. Okay, so once we have this, you have to recall, okay, we have to recall this a plus b squared equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, again, you could have done the follow method. So in this case, we're going to use this formula right here. So if I compare here, my a is what? My a is negative 1. Okay, so my a is negative 1, and then I'm going to write it down. Again, I remember the 2 times my a is negative 1, and then I have to recall my b. Okay, my b, that is I square root of 5. My b is I square root of 5, and then plus b squared, that will be I square root of 5, and that is my b squared. Let me color it. Okay, hopefully coloring help you to understand this. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put this on the left side right here. Negative 1 squared is just going to be positive 1. And then that will be 2 multiplied negative 1, I square root of 5. That will be subtract 2i square root of 5. And then we have the next term we have to be really careful, okay? So when I simplify this, so I realize that will be I squared, then we have square root of 5 squared, correct? Because we have parentheses right here. So we recall I squared just going to give you -1, right? Square root of 5 squared is just going to be 5. So now we have this is a -1 multiplied by 5 gave you -5. So once we have this, we're going to go ahead and finish to simplify it. So we collect like terms. 1 minus 5 just going to be -4. Subtract 2i squared root of 5. So again, that is your standard form. So in this case, we have square roots. That's why we don't write I behind. Okay, so we don't write this in this form because sometimes some people would be confused, count it as under the square root or something. That's why we don't write this form. So we write I in front of your square root. Okay, that is your answer. Part C. Okay, now we have a -25 plus the square root of -50 over 15. Again, anytime you see this negative under square root, step 1 you're always going to do is you're going to get rid of that negative number. That will be I square root of 50 over 15. Okay, that is our step 1. So once we have this, then we have to keep going. Then we're going to simplify it a little bit. Okay, we simplify this square root of 50. So I'm going to go ahead just to simplify this on this side. Square root of 50, I can actually write it as square root of 25 multiplied 2, correct? So that actually is square root of 25, just going to be 5, and then you have square root of 2. So I'm going to write -25. So I simplify this, that will be, remember that at front there's an I right here, correct? So we have to write 5i squared root of 2. So all I'm simplifying right here is just a square of 50. That's why I have to put the I back right there. So over 15. Once we have this, then what we're going to do is we want to write the form, correct? So that's a step 2. Step 3, we want to write the form a plus the bi form. We write a real number in front. Since it's a fraction, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate it. That will be -25 over 15, then plus 5i squared root of 2 over 15. In this case, we have simplified a little bit further because we know 25 and 15. So we can simplify it further. Both they have 5, so that will be 5 over 3. So same thing as here, 5 and 15. So we can simplify this. Okay, let's do double line. So we can simplify this 1 over 3. So now I write the final answer. That will be -5 over 3 plus, we're going to write I at front because we're dealing with square root. And then we have square root of 2 over 3. So that is our final answer. So it's not that complicated. However, because we have to simplify, a lot of times we have to simplify square root. So that really take a lot of practice. Thank you for watching the video. I'll see you guys next time.